Today is Tuesday, September 4th, and today I want to talk to you about sacred motion. It's kind of a complicated subject, although that kind of is a paradox about it, because it's a really simple thing, although it takes a lot of focus in order to do. And what I mean by sacred motion is going through every movement, every breath, every word, and every thought during your day as if you were doing a sacred thing. You know, every time you pick something up, every time you put it down, every time you walk, every time you have a thought, you can feel the thought rippling out and creating something for you. Every time you put an object down, you make yourself aware of the energetic vibration that you're putting on it through your misuse of it or your proper use or your blessing of it. Every time you meet eyes with someone, you wish them what you would wish to receive. Every time you take a step, you realize that the reverberations of your energy are going down into the earth beneath you. And so this is super duper amped up present moment awareness. And it's a beautiful thought and a beautiful intention, but it takes major muscular, like mental muscle control in order to do it. I personally have only ever been able to do it through an entire day one time. And that was Christmas Eve of 2011, so it's been a while, even though I plan to do it all the time and my guides tell me to do it constantly. But it's hard to keep it going all the time. And once you start, though, it gets a lot easier and it gets more power behind it because you feel yourself gaining momentum and you see your reality reflecting back greater synchronicity, greater beauty, and greater good luck at you, to you, with you. And so the way to begin this is by watching your breath and watching your posture. And then every time you move, imagine yourself swimming through kind of a jelly-like substance, which is energy, and know that every movement carries an intention with it. And if you're relaxed, then it'll carry an intention of goodness, I want to say, and not subjective random definitions of good and evil, but rather growth and expansion and healing and harmony. Harmony is really what you're going for here. If you wish to live a harmonic existence, if you wish to live an existence full of drama and strife, then by all means don't do it. But I kind of doubt that anyone watching this video is going for strife and disharmony. So anyway, and that with it carries lots of stuff, because once you can start doing this, then it's much easier to spot synchronicities, and it's also much easier to read your entire experience as if it's a divination. So the way some people read tarot cards or do pendulums or other types of divination or casting runes, things like that, you can look around you at any time. For instance, just now as I said that, I saw a blackbird fly and land right there in front of me. Now he or she is just walking across, and blackbirds they're one of my totem animals, and they represent emergence of the spiritual self and spiritual power. And so that to me, and he was flying from right to left, and right is your giving side and left is your receiving side. And so that to me tells me that I'm on the right track, that I'm saying what I'm supposed to say. I'm noticing I'm wearing black today, so that's another synchronicity. And that I should move from giving into receiving mode, which is something that's been coming up for me lately in the past few days. Another thing, for instance, just taking from my experience, is a spiral is one of my sacred signs. But since I always move clockwise in a spiral, I can tell, because spirals are pretty common. It's not like you have to look really hard to see them. They're constantly around in designs, in nature, in messages, and even decorations and things like that. And so what I notice is if I see a spiral going in clockwise, and that means it's time for me to contract and think and ruminate. And if I see a spiral going outwards and clockwise, then it's time for me to expand and look out to give more. So it's the receiving and giving. And so I'm not at all surprised that I just received that sign during the video, because for the past 2 days or so, I've been experiencing lots of spirals going inward. And when I say inward and outward, it's whatever way the clockwise motion goes. So if I see a spiral going like this, it's going inward. And if I see a spiral going like this, it's going outward. So that's just my personal a couple of my personal signals that I can look for. But the reason that I've seen them is because I've always felt a jolt. Blackbirds have always given me a little jolt, and so have spirals. I've drawn, that's interesting. I've drawn spirals in the borders of my notebooks and things since I can remember, even as a middle schooler, possibly even in elementary school. I wouldn't be surprised. Anyway, those are just a couple of examples from my experience. We're all different, and we all have different signals that kind of show us the way as we're going along our soul path. So keep in mind the idea that the slower you go, and this is a real paradox, the more slowly that I, for instance, move, because I have to work hard not to be sparking around all the time and running around and talking really quickly and things like that. The more slowly and deliberately I move, the more gets done, which just boggles my mind, because it's not that I'm doing different things necessarily. I'm just literally moving more slowly, and somehow everything is done so much more quickly, which doesn't make sense. And that just goes to show that this whole thing is a hologram. You know, it's not objectively real. It's very subjective, and I know some of you might not agree with that, so it's my opinion. Take it or leave it, whatever you want. Anyway, that is all I have for you today. I'm going to go and withdraw inward and listen to the advice. And also one more thing. This is not really withdrawing inward, but there will be a writing retreat, a Bliss Out with the Elves in Utah in November. And I will be putting that up on charismelina.com, hopefully by the end of today, possibly by the end of tomorrow. So I will post a video welcoming you to the retreat page and all that kind of business. But keep it in mind, it's going to be November 9th to the 11th, and it's going to be in Park City, Utah. So anyway, very much looking forward to that. I'm teaming up with Amanda Flaker, who teaches workshops on writing with the elves and connecting with the elemental kingdom through writing exercises, which is really, really powerful. Anyway, go in peace. Have a great day, and I will talk to you again soon.